Hello everybody, it's Monday. How are we? I hope you all had an amazing weekend. It's Lynsey here, your integrative health practitioner. Sorry I'm a little bit late. We had an electrician here and turned off all the electricity. Of course, that's what you do, right? So today we are talking about, which I always find is quite an interesting topic because people get really confused with pre and probiotics and are like, what are they? And what is the difference? So we're going to have a look at that today because I think it's a really interesting area, and it's one that for me, a lot of clients will say that I'm on this and I do this and I do that. And I'm just like, well, if you've got gut dysbiosis, so if you've got bacteria in your gut, if you've got, oh, hang on, there we go. If you've got bacteria in your gut, if you have candida, for instance, then if you're having lots of what we call prebiotic foods, then they actually can actually be causing more problems in your gut than it's worth. So it's really good to understand, the difference between the two, what's helpful, what's not, what should you be taking, and hence why, I always go back to the testing, because if we guess at what potentially could be in your gut, i.e. parasites, bacteria, candida, then that could be, could be messy, right? Trying to work out what the heck's going on because we don't know. So, we take the guesswork out of it, we take a stool sample, or we do some elimination with foods and things like that, or we test, food sensitivities or intolerances and things like that. That's actually going to help you to understand fully what you should and shouldn't be having. Hey Michelle, how are we? Hey Leonie, good afternoon ladies. Alrighty, so prebiotics, so P-R-E, biotics, are not bacteria, okay, at all, but rather the food that the probiotics feed off of. Does that make sense? So the issue though with some prebiotics is that they're more beneficial than others. And especially when you're dealing with IBS, candida, SIBO, so small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and other gut-based issues. Alrighty, so they can actually cause more problems. So some of the vegetables and fruits, I've got a bit of a list here, so that are really great prebiotics and that we should be eating are things like our cruciferous vegetables, so Brussels sprouts, cabbage, broccoli, asparagus. Onions are, I would say, the most potent prebiotic you can have. But then so many people are sensitive to them because they have inflammation in their gut and they can't handle them and they can't eat them. Same as garlic. So onion, garlic, shallots, any of the allium family, they are great for detoxification. As I said, onion has to be one of the most brilliant prebiotics you can eat, if you can eat it. So, if you are eating it, great. You'll be getting prebiotics. You don't need to take anything else. Afternoon, Pamela. There's also some fruits that are great too. So things like nectarines, peaches, green apples, cherries, blackberries, a little bit of raw honey. And then we go on to things like your beans and your lentils and things like that. Now, again, if you don't have good gut flora and you have a weakened immune system, or you're sensitive to these things, you're not going to be able to do very well on these prebiotic foods. And you're actually going to feel most probably really bloated and maybe quite ill after eating them if you do have dysbiosis, okay? So if you have poor gut function, or you've got dysbiotic bacteria, or you've got candida, or you've got parasites in your gut, or you've been diagnosed with IBS, which, ladies, is just a label of a group of symptoms. So, again, they just slap that label on you, tell you you've got IBS and tell you not to eat certain foods. Well, what do we do about healing the gut? We have to heal the gut. We can't just leave it like that. So this is where, where I come in and we break it down and we look at, what's really going on in your gut. So your gut as well is 70 to 80% your immune system. Alrighty, so if you've got poor digestion, you're not breaking down your food, you're not making enough enzymes, and you just haven't got a balanced flora, then you're going to have symptoms. You're going to have problems, right? And that then is a knock-on effect to the rest of your body, because we need the food to break, to give us energy, but we need the food. We need the nutrients from the food as well. But if you're not absorbing those nutrients because you've got inflammation in the gut, then you're not going to be getting the nutrients you need to function, or for your thyroid to function, or for your adrenals to function, or for your liver to function, or your gallbladder to function. It just goes on, right? So that is a prebiotic. I hope that makes sense. Can you give me a big thumbs up if you understand that, ladies? If you come on late, we've just started talking about the prebiotic and probiotic, okay? So your prebiotic is the food that your probiotic feed off of. And that list that I just gave you are prebiotic foods, okay? So your probiotics are found in things like yogurt. So again, if people are off dairy, it's just like, well, what do I eat? So there's kefir. I don't know if you've come across kefir before. That is a fermented milk drink, and that can have some really good bacteria in it. I quite like that for people as well and recommend that. Sauerkraut's also great if you like sauerkraut, but you don't need a lot of it, alrighty? So you only need like a little bit on your lunch or a little bit on your side dish on your dinner, but sauerkraut can be really beneficial as well. Miso, which is obviously Japanese, that's made from fermented soybeans. So again, whenever I go for sushi, I always get a miso soup, so I know I'm getting my my probiotic. You don't have to always take supplements, lady. Like, you can get it from food. And this is I think where the world has gone crazy, because people do just take copious amounts of supplements, and then those supplements can actually have a negative effect on each other. So they can actually cancel each other out and not work at all, especially B vitamins. So it's just knowing, the right things to do and the right things to take. Kimchi is always great as well. So again, that's like a Korean side dish made from fermented vegetables. I love kimchi with a bit of chili in it as well. And you can get different ones. And you can buy that actually in Woolies, like in the cold section it's usually near like the vegetarian and the vegan pretend food, I call it, because it's not real food. Tempeh as well. Again, that's fermented soy, and kombucha. But again, be careful with kombucha, because there's so many on the market, and there's so many that are not great, that don't have the health benefits that we're talking about here. So you need to be really careful with that. So those are the two lists of the different foods for our prebiotics and our probiotics, okay? And what tends to happen is people just end up taking a supplement for it, when you don't have to. You can just take a food. Sometimes it's easy to take a supplement when we're trying to work with people to, to heal the gut and get things going again. But, when it comes back to, actual food, it's much better to eat the food than it is to, just take a supplement, because we're missing essential enzymes and things like that, which are, on the skin of certain vegetables and fruits and things like that, which we need, and the fiber as well, which we miss when we just take a supplement. So it's just, really, really important to be aware, I suppose, and start educating yourself on, what you should and shouldn't be doing, and what's good and what's not. And there are many different strains of probiotics, but the main two, like when I do a complete digestive stool analysis, there's they bring up a list of the different ones, and majority of those are lactobacillus and I was just going to pull those up actually. Let me just see if I can bring up can't share it with you, but at least I can just run through what a report has in it, particularly a stool, stool test. Is that one there? Oh no. All right, maybe I can't. Anyway, that's all right. We can carry on, ladies. So, so obviously we've got those foods there. So we've got your prebiotics, you've got your probiotics, and you know, they are unique strains of beneficial bacteria that are really great for our gut. And I think they're probably the most used dietary supplement after vitamins and minerals these days. Like, people just obviously swallow that amount of stuff. When I'm working with people, yes, we do use supplementation, but we use it in a way that's like in a layered, what I call layered therapy approach, in order to not overload the body. And also we know exactly what the body needs, because usually we'll have run the HTMA, which is the head tissue mineral analysis, alongside the stool test. So we'll know exactly what the body needs, and we're able to give the body those vitamins and minerals in the right quantities, under the right conditions. So our digestive tract is, you know, home to more than 500 bacterial species, and each contributing to body functions such as your digestive system, your immune system, and nutrient production as well. So it's really, really important that we understand, you know, why we need those pre and probiotics in our bodies. Evening, ladies, how are we? I hope you're good. It's pretty crazy weather here today. Like, I feel like it's just like raining and windy and just going absolutely crazy here in Queensland, which is great because we've lost that horrible heat that we had, which was, yeah, just, oh God, I'm so glad it's just like finished. Hopefully summer's gone. Anyway, so when we are putting, as I was talking about before, when people first came on with the prebiotics, when we are putting those certain foods in our gut, or eating those foods, takes for instance your cruciferous vegetables, so Brussels sprouts, cabbages, and things like that. Like, if you have a weak digestive system and you haven't got enough good probiotic in your stomach or in your gut, then you're going to have trouble breaking that down. You're going to end up with belching, you're going to end up with bloating potentially, you're going to end up with maybe bellyache, because your body's not able to deal with it if you have dysbiotic bacteria or potentially candida. So if you are feeling, you know, really uncomfortable and bloated after you've eaten that type of food, then I would definitely be going down the route of getting some form of testing to find out if you have a yeast infection or a yeast overgrowth in your gut, because that can cause so many more problems than it's worth. Can cause brain fog, can cause all sorts of things going on in your gut. Like, that's basic for another day. So there are certain different strains. You'll go into a chemist and they've got some that are in the, you know, in the chemist in the fridge, and they'll have some that are on the shelf, and there are so many different forms of, you know, our friendly bacteria. And there are some strains that are designed to potentially replace the good bacteria. For instance, if you're taking antibiotics, you need to take a probiotic with that, but alongside it. So if you take an antibiotic in the morning, you've got to take the probiotic at night, and that's going to help replace that good bacteria. Otherwise, we end up with no good flora in our gut after taking antibiotics. And then what people find is, yes, the antibiotics work, but a month later, the immune system is shot because your body is dealing with all sorts of issues. And yeah, can't get back on track again. And you end up sort of down that slippery slope of, sickness throughout winter, and just picking stuff up all the time because you've got such a weak gut flora. So one of the prebiotic strains that's really good is Saccharomyces boulardii. It's a beneficial yeast, and it's especially helpful for balancing the gut during and after antibiotic use. And it can also prevent overgrowth of certain unfriendly fungi, yeast, and bacteria. So I do use that one quite a lot. So ladies, has anyone got any questions? I got like a frog in my throat at the moment. I have no water either, which is unusual for me. I've usually got my water sitting on the desk here. Hey ladies, I can see there's a few people on here. Has anyone got any questions that you want to throw out or put into the chat at all? Be happy for you to put them in there. But one of the biggest things I think for everybody is to really just go away and have a think about, when you eat, how do you feel? Like, take notice of the foods you've eaten. straight away? And do you get bloating? Do you get uncomfortable? Are you, have you got a lot of flatulence? Are you not going to the toilet properly? This is all, they're all digestive issues. And it freaks me out when people tell me they only go to the toilet like once a week or something, as in going for a poo. Like, ladies, we need to be going twice a day. Like, once a day is great. Like, if you're going once a day, I'm happy with that. Twice a day, fantastic. But if you're not going, or you're going every other day, those toxins are sitting in your intestines and basically going into your bloodstream and causing more toxins. So you need to be going to the toilet. So if you're not eating enough fiber and you're not drinking enough water, so when we eat fiber, we need to drink heaps of water, and you haven't got a good gut flora. So imagine like a flourishing garden full of herbs and, flowers, whereas you've got, the wilted ones and the dead ones. If your gut's like that, then, you're going to run into some problems. This is where it starts. You've really got to understand your gut health. You've really got to understand what you're sensitive to and cut those foods out, because they can cause more problems, and also understand what's going on in your gut. And again, that comes back down to the testing. So the functional lab testing that I run, which, there's so many different things, and everyone's going to be different depending on the labs we run, because we all have different symptoms and we all have other things going on that we might not be aware of. And that's where that health, having a chat with me about what's going on, and then I can point you in the right direction as to what I feel that you need. So I suppose the what I really want to say is that you don't always need to be taking a supplement as such, as in from the chemist, a pre or probiotic. You can actually get it from your foods, like really, really easily. But some of those foods, particularly onion, for instance, people are very sensitive to. So, that particular prebiotic is most probably not great for everyone. So, there are certain foods that people will be more sensitive to if you've got inflammation in your gut. Once you heal that inflammation, you can mostly eat those foods again. Depends how much damage is there and how long how long it's been left for. And if you haven't done anything about it, then, and you've been like that for a while, then you're going to have those issues, and it's going to take a while to heal the gut. So that's the the pre and probiotic, I suppose, sources, ladies. So if you go back to the beginning from where I started, you'll be able to re-listen to this and just, get a bit more of an idea of how you can maybe help yourself with using certain foods. But again, if you know you're sensitive to those foods, then it's most probably not the best thing to have. I do use it's called 𝗵𝗵𝗂. And this is obviously a dietary supplement. It's a blend of pre and probiotics. They've made a really clever, I suppose they've put together, what you need. And you can use it as a 10-day cleanse, or you can use it as just one a day, to help that gut flora as well. So if you want to get hold of 𝗵𝗵𝗂, let me know and put that in the comments. And that's really great for a really great product that I know works and will actually, if you do a 10-day cleanse, it does actually clear you out nicely, ready to start again. So ladies, I'm going to cut it short and sweet tonight because I've had to just run Tills out to training, and I actually have a client booked in, which I don't usually, at 6 o'clock. So I'm going to run. But I hope that's been helpful. If you've got any questions on your pre and your probiotics, then let me know. And I say you don't just need a product all the time. You can get it from food. So go back to the beginning, have a listen, jot those foods down, test them out, see how you go, and guarantee you'll be getting some really good prebiotics in your foods. And then those probiotics are the ones that I listed before, which are things like your kimchis, your sauerkrauts and stuff like that. So add them into your diet and guarantee your body will be getting what it needs. So I hope you have an amazing evening, and I will look forward to chatting with you again next week, and have a brilliant week ahead because it's Monday. All right, ladies, I'll speak to you real soon. Take care.